Hello everyone, and today the stream will be in English, and I have here my good friend Sean. I hope that I spell your name correctly.
That's good. Yeah, that's right.
Your camera just let me. Uh, okay, fix your camera here. So a little bit scratchy. Now you are good to go. So yeah, today the stream will be in English because I have this special guest here, and he will code, and I will try to help with some input from the Xamarin Community Toolkit perspective, and we are trying to make able the users to have a built-in animations inside the Xamarin Community Toolkit. So like if you have, for example, animation that has some a pre-built configurations, you can just use that instead of configuring step by step inside the animation. And we at the Xamarin Community Toolkit are very, very excited with this possibility. So with the word, Sean, please tell a little bit about yourself, what you have been doing, and after you can talk a little bit about this animation idea that you had.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I've been a Xamarin developer for a few years now, but yeah, sure. So, only recently I've started a side project and actually got that side project through to completion. Years now, but achievement in itself, I think. Only recently I've started a side project and actually got that side project through to completion. Allowed us to kind of, I suppose, on the creative side. The day job doesn't get to do things like animation. So we've tried to just see how far we could push Xamarin in a way. So we've built a word search game that is relatively straightforward. A word search works. But then we've tried to throw some sounds at it to make sure as pretty as we can. In the process of that, we made use of the Xamarin Community Toolkit. Originally, I was really looking for the async implementation to start with. But then I started to appreciate how much it really offered. So I think we've consumed fair amounts of that framework now. From some of the attached behaviors for the things like the user stopping typing, show little validation in entry fields, through to all of the translation stuff as well. We've now put in Spanish and Portuguese. So that's been great. And it's drastically reduced the amount of code that we have to write. And then along the way, we've some of the animations we've built into our app of animate.css. So people are aware. There's a set of libraries that people maintain on GitHub. Another open source project, but this is CSS based. That do some really quite fancy animations. We took those, put them into our app, and then given the amount of value we've got out of it, we thought it would be nice to try and give something back. So it's great that people are interested.
Great. Yeah. I mean, animations is an area that I do not touch too much on applications and stuff like that because it's kind of, I mean, it's not very straightforward, what you have to do to make beautiful animations and stuff like that. You need to do a lot of steps. It's kind of a very hard job to make that be done, but probably it's because I'm a newbie on that. I believe that is not so hard, the Xamarin Forms API, but it looks like that you have to follow a bunch of steps, right, to make an animation.
Yes. I mean, Xamarin do provide some pre-built stuff. So they'll give you a method that you can call an extension method that will effectively let you scale or rotate it. But then the underlying delves down into the underlying API. You've got an animation class, and you can effectively control pretty much any of the properties. You can change the background color, and you can define each of the sequences to change each part. And that's very powerful. It's very powerful. I mean, I think once we get into the code, you'll see actually we really don't have to write that much in order to provide these pre-built animations. And I mean, it makes it look really quite pretty. I've leading up to this, there were some animations that I was looking at the CSS side, thinking it wouldn't be. I wasn't sure it'd be possible. But actually started to look into the implementation is on the CSS side, and then the Xamarin side. It's not strictly a one-to-one mapping, but it certainly looks it is possible. As long as I can sort out my compilation errors, we should be able to show off some fancy animations.
Great. So let me put our screen on the streaming, and now we are seeing our screen and your Visual Studio and code, and you can. And so let's start that implementation.
Okay. Yes. So I guess the original approach that I took in my app, and I think we discussed in the past. I did that via extension methods, which we're not going to go with for the toolkit. Because we want to reduce the public API exposure. Makes perfect sense. So where I've started for now is started to create some duplicate names. We're going to have to find a suitable locational name. But essentially, I've gone to create a base class that will allow us to start creating these animations. The idea is that. So essentially, this is the underlying animation class from forms. Effectively, you create one, define sequences. So quick example, create an animation. You can say between the first and the 10th frame. Then change the scale of the label from 1 to the minimum scale is it's 0.9. So the label here, poorly named view. The label here scale down 90% of its original size in the first of this animation. Then we'll carry on. So at the moment, the base class will provide these animations, and then someone will just be able to either create a new one up and commit it. They will be able to abort it and also check whether it's running, kind of just map to the what's provided by something that can animate or is animatable. So that's trying to reduce hopefully some complexity around how you actually create an animation. As a example here would be so in the samples animation behavior. Butchered it a little bit for now. One of my use cases on my app I can show you if I've still got the simulator open. Essentially, obviously we've got this notion. I mean, obviously sometimes we'll be able to drive from a command, trigger from a view model. Trigger it from a lot of my example. A lot of scenarios we're actually wanting to drive it from the UI itself. Sometimes I don't even have a view model. For performance reasons. If we get to the main area where we do it is we've got a grid essentially. So we've got a grid, and essentially when something is wrong, we've got 3 labels there that we need to do. At the moment it can be dynamic. It can be any number. So the thought being is that if you can, invoke it from UI, directly invoke it from UI, that covers at least my use case.
Yeah, makes sense. Like if we have, but you can't like just architect that to be the UI activation, let's say like that. And if the users want to use the view model for that, they can use our event to command behavior, something like that,
Yes, yeah. So I've been toying with this now as well. You'll see. So at the moment now, we've got the label here. So the original label on the behavior view, I've stuck a gesture recognizer on, and I'm creating this animation and committing it as I would do in the use case that I showed you in my app. However, then I've also added in the so you've got this animation here, and then you've also got the one that maps into the behavior-based approach, the existing model. So essentially, you could do that, and then you can click events like you suggested. And I think there is now a command where you could invoke it from the view model if you wanted to. So what you get here. So you've got the red is the tap gesture. Click that. And I've broken that. I've made that the rubber band.
Yeah, like that.
You've got these two. This is the one I wasn't sure was easy to do, but like I said, to work. I've just somehow messed up my code base somewhere along the line. Oh, that's purely because I've not recompiled, messing around, running that one. So yes, essentially, that's what it is. I'll run this up again. But yeah, so like I said, then in theory you would be able to hear it up, commit it like that, so you can abort it directly if you need to, or you've got this, and then you don't have to deal with any kind of code behind. Like I said, you can bind a command in your view model, which we'll be able to invoke it as well. Which I guess we're going to have to question locations of these things in terms of where it fits within the toolkit. But I've tried to keep it as minimal. So the behaviors will still invoke the animations. All of the logic should be retained in one place.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, yeah, our first attempt was to use like a factory something, but because my first thought was that will be methods, but now this idea to have object is much better, because you can reuse those animations if you want or stuff like that.
Yes, yeah. I think we did discuss having a fluent style, but that rightly pointed out that we didn't want it to be mutable. So being able to pass things into a constructor means it's actually a little bit easier, a little bit clearer at least is what you're getting. You will be getting an immutable object.
Yeah, that's true. So with this approach, like with this design, we also are able to set those values using XAML, right? Or
which values?
Because
in XAML, yes. So in here, I think you should be able to the rotation angle there. Which is the only one I've exposed for now. Set that. We'd have to, but then we'd have the extra ones in. But that's easy enough to do.
Yeah,
I was hoping. No, I was just because I was hoping.
No,
I was just because I was hoping there would be a way to be able to possibly merge these two things together. But I don't think a way to do that and reduce any defining a rotation angle here and angle defining it here as well.
On top of my head, I also have no idea. If someone on the chat have some idea, please share with us on the chat, and we will validate that idea. You know, any help is welcome.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was thinking if you can, but I'm not sure if you can use like that init property from the C#9, because I don't know if there we can specify a set value, you know. Not sure if you are aware of that.
Yes, yeah. I've not touched much of C#9. I've not dared to do the hack again the projects to upgrade Xamarin ones. I probably would be safe. That would allow us to create an animation. How would we potentially? Because obviously the value of this behavior is ultimately being able to attach this button to this animation.
Another thing that I can think right now is like most properties will be used by different animations. For example, the easing property, probably all animations will have that property, so we can add that on our basic class. You know, the most that we can add to the basic class will make us able to avoid that duplication, that those properties and definitions will be a easy solution. Not sure if it's the most elegant one, but I think that will work.
Yes, that makes sense. I think this is the stuff that I've been using for animation. And if you start to run quite a lot of them, you're moving in an X or Y direction, and then potentially got rotation swing. I think that's the main part. Then I guess you've got capacity as well. That's not obviously to say that's not obviously going to be potential other options in the future, but color-based ones, although certainly doesn't apply here, but we're not limiting it to this. Well, it'd be nice to support a load of these. It's not limited to that set. If we can support more, then that's great.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. So I mean, I think there's been a decent job done of the animation basis anyway. You've got a shared duration and easing already.
Oh yeah. So yeah, just read my mind, or I read your mind before, because that makes sense to me. To be honest, I think that we can move with this approach right now. And see how that goes. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'm happy to go with that. I'm happy to go with that. I think it's at the moment. It seems certainly clear where we started. The factory and the fluent based one. The factory also introduced the issue of not always guaranteeing that you're getting something back. Null checks as well. Probably not as clean as would have been as you're going to get from this, because it's quite clear from this usage what you're getting.
Yeah, that is true.
And the aim is at the moment to default as much as possible. You only really need to offer the bare minimum. The one bit I did recently notice as I was rushing earlier is I didn't set that, which ultimately meant I got a rather obscure exception except when it came to actually animating, because basically if we don't have an owner, we try to take the first one in the view. So I guess we probably want some validation here, while it's params you actually really want at least one. Otherwise you're not animating anything anyway.
So the only issue is if the user pass a null value there, right? But if they pass some empty array, nothing wrong will happen, right?
Well, this here will fail. I can. We'd have to potentially put some null reference checks around here. I don't know how the underlying commit works if you provide null in. I need to check the documentation on that one.
Let me check here as well. Let's try.
I can just do that. See what that does.
Okay, so oops. I think people are so from the source code, there is no check on that commit method. Is just call the animate method inside an interface. But let me check if I can.
Are you looking in the Xamarin Forms source?
But yeah, we can do the some check and just protect the users from doing something wrong.
Yeah, there you go. It doesn't. Yes, there you go. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's not that.
Oh, yeah. Another easy way to double check that.
So I guess. I mean, it is kind of pointless. It's kind of pointless to animate nothing. So if we validate null views, views, and give an exception there, then it's clearer, isn't it, to say what's invalid.
Yeah.
Let's put that back.
Looking here as well, they will throw exceptions if you pass null on transform, callback, and self. And self is the view, is our view. So yeah, they do a check before. But yeah, you can validate two things there, right? If it's null and if the length is 0. Because if the length is 0, we do not have any view to animate, so it doesn't make sense to move forward.
Yes. Something like that.
You can say that just views cannot be new or empty or something like that. Very simple.
Then that will make that clear. Then that will make that clear when you start try to something like that. Then you hit the exception there. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's good. So then that's covering that check. That was the only thing I certainly ran into in my initial testing.
Yeah. So yeah, that first will probably will never will throw an exception. So because like yeah,
Right,
if they got a point to run that first, that we make sure that that there is some at least one view there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this looks good to me.
Perfect. We've got some kind of usage of it. And yeah, so like I said, I've obviously tried to guard, so if we don't get anything meaningful, don't have to rely on someone giving something meaningful there, then we can actually put in something sensible. So when you actually come to use it, you literally can just only set the detail that you really care about. Really wanted to customize it, you could.
But if the user have like 3 different study animation and doesn't provide a name, all 3 will have the same name, right? Is that a kind of problem on Xamarin Form side? Because I'm not sure if it is. If they use, I know that animation you have to provide like a name that will be something like an ID for that animation, right? To be sure that is, and not sure if those names should be unique.
I think in theory, they should be unique for the scope of how you're of the owner, effectively. So I think I was reading earlier from in here, where was it? The owner identifies with the name. The name is combined with the owner to uniquely identify the animation. So as if you're calling it like this, well, like that, is that you're not, if you're calling it like that, essentially, then the name is unique to the label. So if you animate multiple controls, the animation is owned by that control, and therefore that's still unique. If you start to do that, and then you wanted to do something like that, that might become a problem. If you had multiple labels like that, because that would be sharing the same name, then that would be something to test. That's for sure. But then I guess the complication comes in how we do the aborting and telling whether they're running, because you pass in the name there.
Oh, I see. So we passed that field, right? But this is something per object. So like, for example, if that animation, if I reference 3 views and abort that animation, all 3 views will stop the animation process. Is that right?
It's a good question. Did that tell us in here? guess the question comes as to whether you can commit to multiple with the same name in the first place. It says it's unique per the owner and the name, but it doesn't necessarily suggest whether.
Yeah, right now we can assume that we just stop you on the views that we pass on that constructor. So, for example, if you pass for a label and a button, and we, like 1 second after we abort the animation, that label and that button will stop. But that label one will continue with the animation because it's it's another object. So that makes sense. And another owner.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think that we can assume that.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, good night, Hit. How are you? Hit, I hope that I spell your name correctly. Someone on the chat.
Good evening. Yeah, so I guess most scenarios you're not going to have that owner, are you?
Oh, I see now what is the owner is. So, so
I think the suggestion is typically the owner is the element you're animating, says, or another visual element such as the page or.
Yeah, I would say that will be good if that views became the owner of that animation, but I think that we cannot have more than one owner, right? That will not mix.
No, you can't have more than one. So I just took the assumption that we'd take the first one in the group if no owner is supplied.
So if you want to make that, we can add, like, for example, on the constructor, when we do the name of, we can say concatenate with datetime now or some grid. That way we make sure that the owner and that name will be unique. And when the user try to stop that, we will not have any collision with names. What do you think?
Yes, yeah, that could work, couldn't it? Because it's going to be stored here anyway. So that would then something to that effect. We can make it a bit cleaner than that. So irrespective of what they give, you're always sticking something to make it unique.
Yeah, I think that, I think will be. On top of my head, I cannot think in any situation that this will have collisions as well, because normally this will execute it in sequences, so the ticks will be always will be different from each other.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's highly unlikely unless you're starting on multiple threads, but you're obviously running into more problems if you're doing UI-related stuff on multiple threads.
Not sure if they can do that, like even registrating animation outside the UI thread. But yeah, it's possible. I mean, devs are crazy, right? We always do something that we should not do.
Like to try and push the limits, yeah.
Well, let's move with this one, and I'm not sure if we can add on the docs or that. Hey, please create your animations on UI thread or the same thread. Don't mess things up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I suspect it's unlikely you're going to run. I'd almost think that's probably quite covering a use case that's not going to be that common anyway.
Yeah.
I can't imagine many people would want to run the same animation in the same area at the same time.
Yeah, me neither.
I think the value of this approach lets you say, well, animate these 5 controls rather than having to create 5 animations, and then they're all done exactly in sequence because they are all part of the same animation. So, I don't know. I think that would strictly be needed. There will be a use case somewhere where someone's done it and run into a strange bit of behavior.
So we can also change that to be a GUID, just to be safe. I believe that GUID, even if you have multiple threads, we will not have the same value.
No, it's highly unlikely to ever get extremely unlikely to have collision in GUID.
So with Collide, we can just move that
fine.
bug to the .NET runtime area, and it's not our fault.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be one of the most difficult things to reproduce, I bet.
True. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with that solution.
Yeah.
I think that we solved that issue, that situation.
Okay, that sounds good. Then I guess one big question I have is, I mean, I've obviously created a folder called animations in the root because I wasn't strictly sure where the animation should live. Because I guess, I mean, they are related to UI bits, but then I know we've got behaviors and others.
Yeah, you are right. Like this is a whole new thing because we have that animations inside behaviors, and you have animation type there, like fade animations shared. Huh. Just a second here. I'm not sure if you can reuse that structure but looks like this is a completely different implementation, right? Like it's not to do with those.
Yeah, so these sit within the animation behavior. So I mean that's the usage. You've got your animation behavior, which is this one here, and then the actual type is this bit that fits inside. So while at the moment, while my implementations of these actually still use these under the hood, there it's not strictly the same thing.
I see.
Yeah. I'm worried. I'm fearful that I've created animation base, which is the same name as this, so I'll have to come up with a better name.
Well, we can rename that to, don't know, pre-built animation base, just to make that clear for people that uses the library. But anyway, they will be in the different namespaces, so not sure if that is still a problem, have that same name.
Possibly not. I mean, it's just if someone tries to use one and they're not sure where they're getting it from.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you try and, I guess it's unlikely that you try and add the behavior because this exists within the same namespace as the type exists within the same namespace as the behavior, doesn't it? You've got that, and then this exists there. So you shouldn't be able to accidentally add this one into the XAML and see it, nothing works. It doesn't even compile because you're using the wrong type.
Yeah, also we have to add some public documentations, that summary. So on the summary, we also can explain that to consumers. So yeah. So answer your question, I think that the animation page, animation folder is okay. Maybe I need to double check with the team, but if we change that name, we change something like pre-built animations or something like that. But looks like a good place to be in the root. And you can use this structure.
Good. Perfect. Okay. I don't know if any other questions came up on the PR that we started initially. That's the wrong thing. I have to get my head around what level of unit testing could be provided to this sort of thing.
Yeah, there we can take a look on Xamarin Farms project. They actually have tests for animations, so unit testing for that, so you can grab from them and implement here.
Perfect, yes. Make a note of that somewhere.
You find the link for those tests and I can send to you on Discord. That way you have the source there.
Perfect, thanks. So another question. Do you want once the upload's up, would you want an animations section in the samples in the root here as well?
Yeah. I think you can create a new section there just for those pre-built animations.
Okay. And then I suspect this. I've got these in here. It's crashing at the moment, so probably not. We can pass inside. Put the null in, but they can use this as well. So I don't know. You probably want a level of a bit of both, won't you? So
we can add.
Can invoke some.
We can add like that section, and you can do like a sample for them. It's like, hey, if you want to use just XAML as a behavior, you can also check it out this sample. This is pre-built, but you can use inside XAML if you prefer.
Yeah, that's good. I'll add to both screens then, so you've got examples of both.
And also I can help you out with those items, because this will be a bunch of work to do, and I can help you and push some code there. Or
okay, thanks. Yeah,
maybe if that makes sense. I don't know how that will grow up, but we can create a separated branch on the Xamarin Community Toolkit, and work on like a feature branch and merge things there. And when you have like, oh, this looks good to be released, and you merge that on the main or develop branch.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Because I guess I don't know how many animations we'd try and put in, but there could be a fair amount to review. So whether you wanted to, I think we originally discussed one PR per animation, but so you're saying take one animation, merge that into the branch, and then carry on, or just work off that branch?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say that feature branch could be just this base implementation, because this is the part that we working on and thinking about. But after we have that working, I believe that our others will be very straightforward, because we will just a matter to follow the template, the steps. So I think just the first one will be the most hard one to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get the framework around it, and then the rest should fall in. Sounds good. I mean, if you look here, I think as a brief example, you've got a set of CSS there, and then you've got basically the little bit that you need to fill out there. So it's relatively straightforward. You just got to get your head around the percentages and then the decimals. And then try and be creative and come up with ones that they haven't thought of, but that's more of a challenge.
Yeah. Also, like you can ask the community to help us after we have that already. We can create a bunch of issues and post a link for each animation and up for grabs then. And as you mentioned, this is more like it's not too hard, it's just a bunch of typing, but it's not that hard to implement.
No, it might be a good introduction to contributions.
Great.
Like a good first issue. Okay. Great. So we said about the samples, and then I think that's all of the things we've discussed. Jumping between immutable and setting things in XAML, and then having a stream about it. So I guess it's through to here. Okay. So where would we go on terms of this feature branch? Is that something you want me to go ahead and create, or are you going to chat to the other maintainers first?
That I think it is okay to do right now by my own. Are you targeting to which branch there on this start anime?
This is on develop now. I've corrected the mistake of pointing at the wrong place, I believe. No, it's still pointing into main.
We don't need to change that.
Take it back.
Because just let me double check here, because I believe that if you retarget that, you need to rebase against develop, and that will be a bunch of work to do. Yeah. Let me just double check here if you can keep that on main one.
Okay. I think this initial PR was off. I think I branched off main and I tried to merge back to main. I think I did that on my Windows machine. I'm pretty sure on this machine now is coming from develop, and it would be looking to go back to develop.
Oh,
so I was
okay.
Possibly push over this, but
no. If you already did the hard thing to, like, if your locally is against develop, so it's easy to change that to develop. So
I think this one is.
You can just confirm that and do and sync with the develop. I will do the change here to GitHub for you. And while you look at that, just ask the chat if they have any question or any concern or any suggestion. Feel free to reach out on the chat window.
It looks like I have branched off develop on this one, so that is what that would simplify it, I think.
Great, yeah, looks like it's everything on against develop. So let me hit target to this button. So yeah, I changed your PR to be against develop right now, and you can first push your change there, and I believe that everything will be fine. Meanwhile, let me, on my end here, update the developer and create a new branch for you against that.
Okay. So apparently I've got 4 file changes. That's not right. just relying on the ta-da. Okay. I'm just going to add that one in for now because rubber band wasn't completely happy.
Yeah. I will update your branch against the develop because on your PR says that it's not.
Am I out of date now?
Okay, just did a merge, so you need to pull that locally because that will change stuffs. And second,
Got a conflict.
oops.
Oh no, that's okay. I think I've got a change. Got to change to the project that I don't need anyway. And what was the other conflict? Potential conflict. Okay, that's come down.
Yeah, and last but not least, let me change the base. So yeah, I created the branch, and now your PR is targeting that branch, that feature branch.
Excellent. Okay. And that's off develop as well, so that should be.
Yeah, that should be okay because I just create that branch against develop, so should not have any problem.
Okay.
Great. Now it's just wait for the CI/CD, but oh.
Looks annoying here that some of the indentations are all off. I don't know.
Oh, sorry, GitHub sometimes has this kind of bug, you know, the misalign some part of the code, so that is fine.
I will need to add in the max and min scale there. I can do that while this is.
So yeah, I know that it's really late for you, so like if you want to do something else, you are very welcome, but like if you want to drop off and take a rest, it's okay as well. I have like 1 hour in live.
I don't know. So I don't know how much further can we take it. You're hoping to if the CI passes, merge this into the this branch?
So the CI was cancelled because I changed the target branch. So
It's going to start again.
so yeah, let's see. I'm not sure if I can trigger that by myself, but if not, it's just a matter of saying a dump commit to trigger the build again.
Okay. One quick question I did have on: is it right to be targeting our properties at animation base?
Yeah, it's okay to do that.
I guess that might be an issue if more than one have the same property name, though.
Yeah, good question. I will need to double check that, but I believe that will be no issues with that. Since like they are different objects, so doesn't matter.
But that's static, though, isn't it? So I don't know
Good
what you
call.
end up with
Yeah,
there.
I forgot that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that you can use the TED animation type on that takeoff.
Go for that one there. Safer, isn't it? I guess ultimately, if we have lots that can rotate, maybe we can find a place to declare that in a more central place. Maximum scale. Ta-da, 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 ta-da. I'm going to struggle when I reset the zoom back to 100% tomorrow to read the text. I might be getting used to this now.
So just double checking here on forms code, it is okay like that one be the type of TED animation and not the base one. And the base one properties can be like animation based. That will be fine, just fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Set that to minimum scale. The other question I did mean to ask is, so at the moment in the code behind approach, you can pass in a function to say whether it should repeat. So I guess technically you could tell it to repeat. Well, you could decide however you like within that function to decide when to stop or keep going. Would you want any kind of options on
I see the XAML part here.
On the XAML part, as to say, you could have a repeat count or just a repeat Boolean, or leave it off for now until someone actually finds a use case for it?
I would say a repeat boolean because like if the users want to provide a custom thing for that, they can use triggers and converters. So I believe just put a boolean.
Okay.
That will be enough.
Okay, I can do that. That can't go on the base, can it? Because we don't.
Oh yeah, makes sense. All those animations will have that property.
I'll never. Well, I'll sit waiting there for a while. But okay. Potentially add repeat on here as well for now. I'll add it on here for now, and then we can move it to the right place as we add more. Repeat's not a good name, though, is it? What's it?
For Boolean, we have like a pattern for that, like for example, is visible, is enabled. So is repeat enabled, something like that, because for Booleans that we have that naming pattern on form side that we needed to.
Yeah. Need that part there, yeah. It's repeat enabled. Will repeat? I don't know. I don't know how far you.
I'm not sure if it's repeatable is a word. It exists. No, it isn't. But yeah, it's repeated. I think will be enough.
It's repeated. Yeah. Okay, that works.
But yeah, we can end up a better name. I mean, it's the software development. I think that naming things is the most hard part.
Definitely. That's wrong. That should be that. You just default there. Yes, yeah, definitely is the most difficult part of development. So then that would be should repeat. So whoever awaits this animation will obviously sit there until that becomes false if it's set.
Yeah. So this is a property, I believe that yeah, we need to test if the bindings will trigger that func or not.
So I think this gets called back basically when the animation comes to finish. So essentially, no. Once you get to the end of the animation, it'll believe it does a check to say,
Oh, yeah,
have I finished, or do I basically you call that. If that's false, then it'll say, oh, I've finished, and it'll call that. So that should change, I think. Might be worth doing a test on that.
Yeah, we have time to do a test on that.
Do build errors. Are they real build errors? Accessibility, I've not touched that.
Oh, it's probably because some that merge update. So what is saying that?
The type or namespace accessibility does not exist in Android X.
Just delete that. Using at line 5. I think that will fix the issue.
And then whatever that is.
See if the Roslyn help us to import the user. Yeah, remember that we have that breaking change on the new part because of Android X change. the namespace for those objects.
Doesn't seem to complain now, despite it almost looking like the same thing. One error left. I've got a conflict.
If this Xamarin Forms version, maybe your sample are behind the latest Xamarin Forms package. Let me confirm which one we are.
Ping that table. Consolidate is not showing anything.
Let's see the updates one. Okay, yeah, no.
It's on the solution level. Oh no, that's the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's using the latest one, 2083. Oh, there is no Xamarin Forms version there. Do you see?
Yes, yeah. Should there be?
At least is the reason of the error. I'm not sure why isn't there. We'll be at line 67.
Right there. Thanks. How's the CI coming along?
Sorry?
Or is that it's not? Oh, the CI won't build on this branch.
Yeah, we work is. I believe that is because I changed the target branch during the build process, so the Azure just cancelled it, and I don't have the powers to run that inside the Azure. So probably when you do a new commit, that will trigger the build again.
Okay. Changes do we have now? Jeez. That's real? They've spelled accessibility wrong.
Oh boy.
That is the difference. There's no L.
So a wrong typo was a breaking change.
On error.
What? Now the thing is with the effects.
How to resolve accessibility, not accessibility. No, could it be that I don't have something in my environment set up correctly? I mean, I'm built for Android X before, but I don't know.
Could
there be something I'm missing on the SDK manager?
would suggest that. But no, you have the latest SDKs. Yeah, that's weird. Let me try to build it locally. I think that change was on this one. Yeah, update Xamarin Forms dependency, the 31.
That one. So that change is implying you don't need that, or stay there. All Xamarin Forms packages have gone, have they?
Funny. I just check out to your branch on that PR, and that built on my machine.
Excellent. Let's do a complete clean.
But I'm using Windows, so yeah, could be environment related.
Ooh, this window did pop up earlier, but it's only SDK and Visual Studio for Mac. No mention of anything Android related. Close and start again. So on the one that builds for you, the semantic effect, does that have accessibility with the L in it or without?
Yeah, I tried to build just the Xamarin Community Toolkit library, but your issue is related to the sample, right?
Well, the semantic effect is in
So let me
the toolkit.
try to build the sample here. It will take a little bit while.
Now it's telling me that doesn't exist.
Weird. Oh yeah, I can see the error here on the sample. Oh no, but it's about the Hubert band animation.
Have I? There were some files I didn't add because I wasn't convinced they were complete. Is that not building on yours? Is it still going?
Let's see. Let me try here again and see if it now works.
I've done a clean and it's rebuilding now, and it looks like it might be happy with the original change. Not quite sure why it got upset though.
Oh yeah, that's true. VS for Mac sometimes get lost when you do complicated Git stuffs.
Looking a little bit happier. I won't add that in. Did you say you had some issues with references to the rubber band animation? That was failing?
Yeah, that was the reason. But I just removed that and changed the value of the property was inside the animation type folder on animation behaviors.
This thing here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I need to tidy that up as well. It tells me that only completed task doesn't exist for net standard 1.0.
Oh yeah, yeah, because we target net standard 2.0, so we need to use the task.fromResult.
Yes, okay, yeah, that's it.
And passing something there.
It's not going to animate, is it? So, is that fine? Returning a false
it's okay. Well, yeah, looks like that now. Everything built here after the change about the Rubens. So it's Rubens animation.
Okay. The Visual Studio claims it's still rebuilding, although I'm pretty sure it's finished. Okay, so I have it's a rubber band, isn't it? No, not actually renaming anything. Wonderful. Okay, if this builds, then I'll push this up, and hopefully that'll be 2 base animations and the key parts to it.
Great.
There'll be unit testing and stuff to do at some point, but
Yeah, but that is a good cook-off to start.
That's why you had your failure, is it?
Yeah,
That was there.
just this one.
Just that one line is causing so many errors. Perfect. So that's the extra changes now with the rubber band. Perfect. There are no checks now to run.
Let me double check that.
Is that maybe, do they checks only run if you're merging
Yeah,
to
could be.
develop or main?
Yeah, could be that. Wow. Yeah, the CI is not working for this one. Well, no issues if.
That's fine. It's safe to merge then. There's nothing to check.
Yep. So, do you feel that it's ready to merge on that branch, and will you keep working on that new branch?
Yes, yeah. I think that's the basis for creating more animations and adding in things like unit testing and kind of XML documentation around it all. And obviously more samples. But yeah, I think that's probably a good start.
Okay, I will write some comment there and I will do the merge.
The main description of this is vastly different to what we've actually done. So while I've been implementing some of the animations here, I realized that the ones that I put into my app are not actually complete copies of. This is the one we implemented.
Oh.
The one in the app doesn't actually quite match it exactly, but I think the one in this PR does. Now I've gone through some extra checks.
Yeah, no worries about that. I mean, to me that looks beautiful. So, yeah, I will do the merge now. Done.
Excellent.
So now, when you work again on this, just remember to target that PJ/prebuilt animation branch, and
Yeah, I'll make a note of that. PJ pre-built animation. Excellent. Okay, that's written down, so I will try and remember that one. I've always got a bad habit of pointing at main instead of develop, so to remember that
No
one.
worries.
Okay, I guess that's probably a good point to stop as well then.
Sure. So
yeah,
let me change. Yeah, found it. So thank you very much for this, your time. I know that it's very late there on England, but yeah, thank you very much for this. Appreciate it. And I hope that make people more comfortable to contribute with the Xamarin Community Toolkit and also another open source project as well. Yeah, I agree. Pair programming always is helpful. So yeah, I will stop right now. Bye bye, people.